ButtKicker. Feel what you've been missing. Get yours today at thebuttkicker.com and be sure to use our 20% discount promo code ISCA20.
Live from Richmond, Virginia, we welcome race fans one and all here to the Napa 200 at the Richmond Raceway for round number 7, the second season of 2022 in the iRacing Stock Car Association ButtKicker Cup Series. We're happy that you're joining with us on another Thursday night. My name is Nolan Rempel. I've got Brian Britt beside me in the broadcast booth with Rob Melney once again down behind the cameras for tonight's race. So we get set to go slowing it down just a little bit more from Circuit of the Americas. This time, slowing it down though, back on oval racing, right where these cars belong. And what better way to kick off our exciting little second half of the second season here than with the Richmond Raceway, Brian?
Oh, I agree totally. This is definitely going to be a quite a challenge here for a lot of these guys making that transition from COTA last week. And these cars actually handled COTA fairly well. It was a very interesting race to watch for sure. And but Richmond going to be a whole different beast for, going to be a lot of these guys getting really loose coming out of 2 and maybe even hitting the wall. So this is going to be one of those tracks where these guys are probably going to be using some bumpers, getting a little bit physical. But long race, 200 miles, it's a long one.
And it is, of course, not the only time we're going to be slowing it down here in the second half of this season. Next week, we slow it down even further to the Martinsville, Virginia, just a little bit further over in the state of Virginia, right? And then, of course, you kick it over to Tennessee for the Bristol Motor Speedway and the dirt race there. You know that there's going to be a lot of very, very exciting racing taking place in the next couple of weeks here. And I have to say, I am absolutely looking forward on being on board for every last second of it. So what do you think we could potentially expect from not just this race, Brian, but the next few races as a whole?
Well, definitely going to be a lot of short track kind of stuff. Like you mentioned about Dirt Bristol, these cars are kind of unproven on that racetrack. So I'm really curious to see what that's going to look like. Martinsville probably going to be exactly what we think it's going to be. It's not like this, but a lot of low speed corners, a lot of probably guys beating and banging, and paperclip. How exciting that paperclip can be. But I definitely am looking forward to Bristol Dirt. I think that's going to be a good one. We saw the Gen 6s last year, race there. I'm really curious to see what this next gen looks like.
I remember before we were saying that it used to be the super speedways or the road course races that were the wild card events. Well, it doesn't get much more wild than having a lone dirt race on a season. So you know for a fact that is bound to have some very, very exciting racing in the next little while. 60 seconds are left in qualifying. And interestingly enough, less than half of the field so far have set times.
That is kind of an interesting thing there. Mark Pageant right now holds the pole with a 22.219, but only 9 people have actually qualified. That is quite bizarre.
It's very bizarre indeed, and you have to wonder what this could potentially mean when it comes to figuring out how this race could all kind of develop up as the night goes along. 25 seconds are left, and Greg Wachinski is so far the slowest driver on the qualifying times. He is a second off of Mark Paget. But there's a bit of an asterisk there, seeing as he was a good 0.6 of a second off of just the next closest driver, John Mullins, down in the 8th position there.
I would say that Greg Wachinski maybe made a mistake on that lap, so I don't think that really is indicative of what he's turning. Because, I know he's already ran several of these officials this week and, probably has some experience. And it's so easy to make a mistake when it comes to qualifying out here. But the grid looks like it's set, Nolan.
Going to get set to go racing once again here in the ISCA from the Richmond Raceway. We'll take a brief step away and listen to the United States of America National Anthem.
Drivers, start your engines!
Starting on pole position here for the Napa 200 in Richmond, Virginia is going to be none other than Mark Paget on the front row with Corey Cook starting beside him just a couple of thousandths off. It's Matt DeCiani in third, Josh Schaffner is in 4th place on road number 2. Kendall LeBron is going to be rounding out the top 5 with Kenny Powell down in 6th. Wade Rossi is 7th with John Mullins in 8th. Got Greg Wachinski in 9th as the last car to set a qualifying time without Kozlowski, starting in 10th, Brian.
Greg Bartlett is going to be starting in 11th place. 12th place is going to be Matthew Meekin. 13th, Paul Olson. 14th, Mark Sanchez. 15th, going to be Randy Drumhiller. 16th, Kyle Green. 17th, Andrew Layton. And 18th, James Oxford. 19th, Robert Pattengill. That is our 19-car field here. Kind of a good number when it comes to a short track like this. I kind of said mile earlier. 200 miles is actually probably not that. It's actually a .75 mile racetrack. Nolan.
It's a 3/4 mile short track, so it should be an interesting race for us then here tonight. It's relatively moderate temperatures with the track out there, 94 degrees Fahrenheit. I used to think 94 degrees was relatively cool, Brian, but then they called a touring car race earlier today where the track was at 73 degrees Fahrenheit. I think 94 is going to be just fine for all the drivers out there right now.
Yeah, I think that is definitely a big part of getting the grip and stuff like that. When you get to those hot temperatures, it gets a little slick out there. But when you get to the cool temperatures, it definitely can also affect your handling. So I think this is just right here. And I'm curious to see how it's going to progress as the night goes on, as the pace car lights are out. Always could see this track start to change, and especially with the usage, too. We're going to see a lot of rubber getting laid down.
Field is just getting set to roll. Stages, as always, you got 3 of them, and they're going to be at laps 40 and 80. Field run just about 94 laps. So it'll be well into stage 3 before you see anybody even thinking about coming on in for pit stops, at least for fuel. So Brian can have 1 lap to go this time by. What do you think could be some of the drivers we should look out for to try to pull one up today?
Well, drivers, I think, is going to, maybe make something happen here. I mean, I know Josh Schaffner, he's been dynamite here. He's the points leader, and I do believe both the Super Cup and the Cup Series. So expect to see him really start to shine here tonight. Yeah, he's definitely going to try to get as much of a gap as he can. But, I mean, you got a lot of strong guys up here, in this whole field. I mean, that's what ISCA is known for. A lot of strong drivers. Anybody, I think, tonight could end up coming home and getting victory lane. And then Richmond's definitely one that I would want to have. I want to have that trophy on my wall, that's for sure.
Field's going to be coming around through turns 3 and 4 this time by. We're happy that you're joining us on a beautiful Thursday night to go racing for the ISCA ButtKicker Cup Series once again. Mark Patrick going to take the field out of turn number 4 and towards the start-finish line. As Barney the Flagman waves that green flag, we're underway for the Napa 200.
Still some side-by-side racing. Definitely going to be tricky getting into turn 1 at a track like this. So on these starts, a lot of guys probably haven't practiced that. Oh, you see the 77 starting to fall back further back in the field. A lot of the guys starting to single file up here.
A lot of those drivers really starting to get themselves in single file, and you can see the likes of Padgett, Cook, DeCiani, Schaffner, and LeBron all running single file. Behind them, you got Kozlowski just getting around the likes of John Mullins. That was for 9th place, and McMeekin trying to follow him through as well. And it looks like the Serial Smorgasbord not going to be looking to go into any big fights earlier today. Well, I can say that. Look at that with a crossover out of 4 to the inside.
Yeah, one thing about it, we saw that 64 was kind of running the high side in those last couple corners. Got a pretty good run of momentum there on the straightaway. Now he's underneath him. This is a side-by-side battle going on right now for the 10th position. John Mullins in that colorful Lucky Charm scheme. Definitely not going to let make him have it. But that's one thing about this track, though. You race side-by-side, that you're going to slow each other down. And you want to also think about the long game when it comes to a race like this.
And the long game is one thing that these drivers are going to have to really keep in mind. It's not easy having yourself patience on one of these short tracks, especially at Richmond, though, because Richmond Raceway, one of the more difficult short tracks to pass at that we're going to be going to on the season. It's a lot more difficult to bully somebody up and out of the way because you have a much higher chance of spinning them around outright, unlike at Martinsville, where we're going to be visiting in just 1 week.
Yeah, but this is that kind of track to where, the corners are just fast enough, whenever you get out on the exit, you really have to be very gradual when it comes to throttle application. could easily spin those tires, spin out. And tires are also a big thing here. You don't want to be sliding them because they will fall away quickly. Your lap times will drop very significantly, and especially as this race goes on. I think we're going to see a lot of tire wear here tonight.
Tire wear is going to be, of course, a very big factor, but how long you can run on a fuel run lap-wise, it is, of course, always a big question, right? Do you want to make more pit stops but be faster on the tires, or do you want to take the gamble that you can make it last on the fuel run? Most people opt to play it safe, go for the fuel, right? Because on a short track, when you go into pit road, you always lose at the very least 1 lap, sometimes 2, maybe even 3 at some tracks such as Bristol.
Well, we're seeing Kendall LeBron having a little bit of a handle condition. Kenny Powell now underneath him. This is for the 5th position, and wow, Kenny Powell slides up right in front of Kendall. You can just tell these cars are so aero sensitive. I think that, even at a track like this, you're still seeing guys getting really aero loose, off of the dirty air. I think dirty air still is a big part of this.
And now Kenny Powell starting to get into it with Kendall LeBron here a little bit in the battle for overall P5. And LeBron trying to see if he can't find some way to get through. And that 00 Pulse Poppers Ford Mustang did a solid job so far to just keep it steady. He already has a little bit of right side damage. You can probably notice that a little bit crumpled in on the right front. And what that tells me, Brian, a little bit of a ding with the outside wall.
Yeah, and that's not very rare here at this racetrack. It's so easy to get off those corners. You're trying to be as fast as you can, getting off the corners. You get a little tight on exit, hit that wall, and it could also affect your toe. You hit that wall enough times, it could continue to compound and make you slower, and I think that's what we're seeing. But I want to give him a good shout out to Kendall. I mean, look at that new paint scheme this week. That thing is beautiful.
Oh, it absolutely is. That is a phenomenal looking paint job on that car. How about this for the fight for second place? Corey Cook's got the inside on Matt DiCiani, and the Fanatec Chevrolet trying to sweep through, and Corey Cook going to have to let him in, and that is going to be one pass done for DiCiani and his Chameleon Cold Brew Chevy, and the Guardian Chevy going to have to tuck back in line for now. DiCiani, though, up to second place. Mark Padgett, though, starting to pull away.
Yeah, Mark Padgett is definitely starting to pull away. He's over a second right now in front of Matt DiCiani. You see Corey Cook, losing that spot. He's still pretty quick, though. But I think the long run's starting to come in. Not really long run. The tires are really starting to wear. I think that's what we're seeing. I mean, compared to what these guys were turning when they first started, we got our leader, Mark Padgett, 22.310, now turning 22.798. So, I mean, he's lost several tenths here, Nolan.
He certainly has. And now, is that possible technical difficulties? No, it's not. Gets back in at just the last moment. I thought for a moment that Cook might have had to bow out early on. That would have been so unfortunate, especially so early to a 200-lap event. And speaking of which, we're already approaching halfway through the second stage. It ends at lap number 40. And we're already rounding this track for the 15th time tonight. This race just flying by.
It really is, but one thing we need to really keep an eye on, I'm watching Wayne Grossi. He's having a very heavy blinking issue right now. Hopefully that does not persist.
Sometimes it's something that has to work with when it comes to these things. I know that there have been several storms that have just rattled the center of the country as well as along the East Coast. So that no doubt could potentially be an after effect of that. I know that's been a really huge problem. And of course, we're wishing all the people that have been affected by those storms the very best in these less than certain times. For Kenny Powell, though, one thing is certain for him. He's not content with sitting in 5th place. He is starting to close up on his teammate, Josh Schaffner. He wants to find some way through past that Plenish Chevrolet.
Oh, yeah, he definitely catching up to him quite a bit on the entry to the corner. But, yeah, I mean, I've even dealt with a little bit of that weather. I mean, my power's been flickering and stuff all day long, but luckily it definitely didn't. It could have been worse. I mean, I could be not talking here to you, Nolan, and that would not be cool with the candles out. But Kenny Powell still looking for a way. He's trying to try that high side, but it's just so hard to pass here. I'm wondering if once the tires start wearing more and more and more, will it become easier to maybe make that high side work? Or I mean, because Richmond seems like a track you could maybe get some more momentum up there.
I The outside line can be very, very good in these cars, but the problem is it's good on exit. It's not necessarily the best if you want to try to initiate a pass. That's why you're still seeing a lot of these drivers sticking to the bottom lane, because it's just that much better all around on entry. I think that's one thing that you have to keep in mind, right? It's how do you want to have these runs build up over the entire package. You can get your nose with the inside all you want, but it's not going to matter unless you can nail the exit as well. That's why we're seeing a couple of guys trying to push it in a bit deep and then kind of go over and under. Kyle Green wanted to just go under. He's found the way to the inside of John Mullins, and the Rowdy Energy number 13 gonna go to the inside, and that's Green now up to 11th.
Yeah, Kyle Green definitely looking like he's got him a fast car right now. And back here, there's definitely a lot of clusters of racing going on. As you even see the 44 of Randy Drumhiller trying to look in on the inside of the 77 of Greg Bartlett here. And that is for, I do believe, 12th position. So there's a lot of racing going on in this mid-pack area.
Halfway through stage number 1 and continuing to just tick the laps away as we get set to close in for the first round of bonus points on the night when that stage completes. And that is the one unfortunate thing about all this exciting race that we're seeing here outside of the top 10. Is the fact that it's outside of the top 10, meaning it does not count for stage points.
Yeah, that's definitely a good point. If we look up towards closer to the front of the field, there is some things starting to, progress a little bit here for Matt DeCiani. He's been starting to catch Mark Padgett. We saw earlier he had built up over a second of a lead. That lead is now under a second, about 8/10 right now, Nolan.
Starting to close in just that a little bit more, and that is going to be the very, very crucial thing. How desperate is DeCiani going to be to want to push hard early on here to see if he can't catch up and go for a stage 1 win? Of course, that would mean big news, because that is, of course, big points for DeCiani in his bid to try to go after a race win here in this one. I'm just trying to kind of poke through. DeCiani is already well inside the cut line for the Super Cup Series for the playoffs, but of course wants to get a win to actually lock himself in. But more importantly, when you take a look at the actual Cup Series for the time being, well, I say that, doesn't look like that has been updated for some time, unfortunately. So that is a bit interesting there, right? You have to always, I imagine, kind of keep on your toes to figure out what's going to go where for how these races could play out.
And it looks like we saw him starting to catch up, but now I think he's starting to fall back a little bit. Like, I don't know, maybe, I guess maybe he really had some fast laps there, but then got his tires a little bit too hot. Maybe he's trying to cool them back down again. I mean, still within a second, he is starting to fall back. I think Corey Cook's starting to put a little bit of pressure on him.
Oh, sorry, I'm actually a bit of a fool here. I was reading the wrong number, trying to figure out what race number it was. That's round 7 for the Super Cup Series. It is only round 3, so DeCiani currently is battling for the points lead. In the regular Cup Series season, he entered this race just 6 points behind Josh Schaffner. The way it stands at the moment, he stands to gain a lot of time. And Paul Olsen going to move down and well out of the way of the field. And now, nothing stands through DeCiani and Mark Padgett up the road.
Yeah, he definitely seems like he's running, consistent laps, and that's what's really going to be key about this. I mean, you can run a really fast lap all day long, but it's all about consistency and just running the same lap over and over and over again here at a track like this. Try not to get those tires too hot. I mean, I know the stage break's coming up soon, but I mean, it's going to pay dividends if you're just easy on them. I mean, one thing, old adage that I've probably said so many times is, the first 5 laps are so important for the rest of the run, and I think that's really, really the case here at this racetrack tonight here, Nolan. Corey Cook getting a little bit loose there.
Oh, ho, ho. Now fishtailing then quite badly down the back straight. He got a bit loose and then just never really stopped getting loose all the way down the backstretch. That could have gone all sorts of wrong, and we'll have some unfortunate news. We've already had one driver bow out of racing competition. Paul Olsen has thrown in the towel early on. We'll not be seeing him on the racetrack any longer. There's Pattingill working his way up to 16th.
Yeah, we've seen John Mullins really, truly been falling through the field here. I think I don't know, maybe if he missed the mark on the setup. I mean, this track is very easy to, or not very easy to set up for sure, but he's definitely gonna, once the stage caution comes out, he's gonna be wanting to get some adjustments in that machine, and that could really bring some more life to his race. You know, maybe it's just also his driving style. I mean, this racetrack is so easy to really burn those tires up. I mean, you know, you want to try to do wide arcs here at this track. If you try to go really narrow on your entry, you're going to be burning those things up, and definitely going to be wanting to make some adjustments. Maybe, unfortunately, can't make tape adjustments, but brake bias, I think, could be of value here.
Well, it is worth remembering that, of course, he was the second to last driver of those that set times, and of the 19 drivers that were set to start this race, only 9 of them actually set times. So it's not really any surprise that there was going to be a little bit of shakeup here in the order. And so that is no doubt why we're seeing John Mullins falling back so much as it is. Oh, Mark Paget's going to look
contact.
for it. Mullins tried to shut the door. I don't think he expected Paget to throw it in there like that.
Yeah, I don't think he did at all either. I mean, crazy to think that we're already seeing lap traffic. And we haven't even gotten to the end of stage 1. Mark Paget, I wonder how, I mean, that didn't look like that was that big of a contact. That could have been way worse. Hopefully, Robert Pattengale learned that as a lesson, was looking in his rearview mirror and saying, hey, no, I'm getting out of the way.
That's not something we typically see Pattengale having an issue with, so Mark Paget easily finds a way by the number 17 Tucson Sound Art Mustang, and you can see the Chameleon Cold Brew Chevy just right behind and starting to lose touch. We are going to be hitting 5 laps to go in stage number 1 this time by, and I think that kind of says all you need to know. This race so far is Paget's to lose.
It really is. I mean, because if he leaves his car the same, you know, and doesn't make any adjustments, doesn't try to keep up with the changing tracking conditions, because that could be what, you know, is causing a lot of these guys to have handling issues. A big battle going on between Wayne Rossi and Greg Wachinski back here in 7th and 8th place. Wachinski's been working on him hard. Now we're starting to see that high line starting to work. I think enough rubber's been laid down up there.
Grossi trying to look low, but I think put the clutch in and let Wachinski have that one. So the number 5 DuPont Chevrolet will get the drive off. And Wayne Grossi's Pennzoil number 7 is going to have to wait just a little bit longer. 3 laps to go, this time by at the start-finish line. And the way it sits, Pattengale is the lucky dog car. That could easily be Mark Sanchez, though, in just 1 lap.
We've been having some battling going on here for 9th and 10th, too. We see, you know, Kyle Green made it past Al Kozlowski. We also see Matthew McMeekin coming up here on Al Kozlowski himself. Big race here for the top 10. I mean, 10th place, that's a points-paying position. You want to try to do something to get that, and I think that's what Matthew McMeekin's thinking right now.
It's the final points-paying position as well. Excuse me.
Wow.
Yeah, Kozlowski really checking up that machine there, the number 41, and could get ugly here. McMeekin's got the drive high side, and he's going to take it as they hit 2 to go.
And that high side is starting to look strong. Look at that, even behind them, Randy Drumpiller and Greg Bartlett fighting it out. Oh, contact!
Oh, no! And caution's out. That ends the stage.
Wow. Matthew McMeekin's not going to feel too good about that, but look at the damage that Al Kozlowski got from that contact. He hit him pretty hard. You can see that definitely a lot of problems there with that front end. But Mark Paget going to win this stage, man. He's got to be feeling good about that.
Up. I don't think he hit the wall. I think he did a good job to keep that thing out of the wall. That could have been so much worse for McMeekin.
Yeah, it could very well have. I don't think that. I think that was just hard racing to the end of stage. Those guys wanted to get those points. I mean, who can blame them, right?
On board with Kozlowski and just gave that little bit of a love tap to the left rear, and that's all it takes.
And he had his wheel all, you know, cranked to the left, so I mean, there's no doubt he didn't mean to do that, you know. It just he was driving it in too hard. That's all it was. I mean, you overdrive it, it happens, you know.
Well, pit stops are currently underway. We'll take a break in just a moment. We're going to let these pit stops cycle through first. Paget leads them down. We'll see, can he be the one to lead them off as well? Oh, Corey Cook missed the pit box, and that's not good news for the number 61, who is going to, I imagine, lose a handful of spots as a result of that one. Paget is out of pit road, and he'll be the first one off. Corey Cook will lose a couple. He entered third. He will leave fourth, though. And all of that will now put us here for the end of stage number 1. We're going to take a quick step away, and we'll be back with you once again in just a few moments from Richmond, Virginia.
Cardiology, I don't have the heart. Pulmonary doctor, no cigar. I can't diagnose a simple cold or flu, but if your engine's got a cough, I know what to do. Give it 6 of these and wash it down with this. A new air filter ought to help it catch its breath. Napa know-how. Napa know-how.
Paget still is your race leader as well as their Stage 1 winner. From there it is Schaffner, DeCiani, Cook, Powell, Wachinski, Grossi, Green, Drumhiller, and Bartlett for the top 10. That's going to be your starting order for that top 10. As pace car lights go out, we are 1 to green. Stage 2 will, of course, be coming to an end at lap number 80. And it's just under 40 laps from now. It'll be 35 when we take that green flag.
Yeah, definitely going to be some exciting racing from here on out. I think the tension and the stress level for these guys is going to be, just going up and up and up and up as this race goes on. I mean, this is that short track racing. I mean, these guys are going to get frustrated with one another, I foresee. And I'm just glad I'm up here and can enjoy it, and be that fly on the wall instead of actually having to participate here as the green flag soon to come out knowing.
Pace cars down and in, and it's up to Mark Paget, who will launch early. The green flag flies once again, and Napa 200 gets back underway for the second stage on the night. Diving into turn number 1. Schaffner still holding dead even with DeCiani as they exit 2 down the backstretch.
And what's really surprising about tonight, we haven't seen any cautions based on a wreck here. That's kind of surprising to see as we see DeCiani setting ahead, going a little bit tight. Just giving Schaffner enough room here. Corey Cook looking on. He's got the best seat in the house, but if something goes wrong with those two, he's going to have the worst seat.
DeCiani getting a bit loose that time by out of turn 2, but he's kept it together. Corey Cook trying to find a way through. He, of course, lost third place in the pits when he missed his pit stall. He's trying to take that back. Oh, he's loose again. Way to the inside and into the grass, but he's going to wrestle that thing back under control.
What a save there from Corey Cook, man. You see that a lot from him. He's so fast, but, he just makes that little bitty mistake, and that's what cost him a ton. I mean, he definitely has the speed to win races, I think, at 61. It's just, you make mistakes like that, it's hard to keep not making them. I mean, this is a hard track, especially if you have a really loose car, as he's going to try to get back around Randy Drumhiller right now in that 9th place.
Cook's going to quickly work his way back up into the 9th, as you mentioned, and Drumhiller starting to fall back to Kendall LeBron. LeBron wanted to find a way through in his Pulse Poppers Mustang, which he's going to get right out of the final corner, blazing back down the front straightaway. All the while, the field has very quickly gotten single file again. Was that a wash-up from McMeekin?
Yeah, that was. He got really loose there. I think it was an arrow it was a tight, loose condition there. He just got so tight, I think he got loose. But he kept control of it, but definitely lost some precious time. As we see you see John Mullins starting to come up there. I believe Mullins is actually a lap down though.
And this is, of course, John Mullins, I'm assuming, and that would be correct. Mullins is one down. Andrew Layton's actually trying to find the way by Mullins now, and this is checking up Kozlowski as well as Mark Sanchez. All three of these drivers trying to find a way past what I dubbed the cereal smorgasbord just in front of him. He's got everything on that car. Look at that. He's got Captain Crunch and Cocoa Puffs on the back. He's got Lucky Charms on the front. I don't even know what he's got on the side.
I don't know, man. All them cereals on there, that looks cool and everything, but I think these guys behind him, the guys behind him are probably not too happy with him because they want to get by him and start to make, get closer and closer to the front of this field. But, he has every right to be out here racing these guys just like he is. But at a short track like this, you get frustrated when you get stuck behind someone.
And it can get frustrating, especially when that car is lap traffic, right? Because you have to just imagine these guys are yelling at him. It's like, get out of the way. We're trying to race. Battle's on for 8th place, though. Greg Bartlett just moved high and wide to allow Corey Cook to get through. So Bartlett might try to fight back here down the back straightaway. He's not going to do that, but he certainly thought about it.
Yeah, Corey Cook's got a lot of speed right now. He is moving through this field in this 61 Abruzzi machine, and he just needs to kind of limit these mistakes. If he doesn't make too many more, or maybe, luckily we have another stage break coming up here shortly. That's going to give him a chance to, get some fresh tires. Him losing it a little bit like that still does heat those tires up, and that's something you do not want to have happen here at this racetrack. You also see a little bit of a battling starting to form up here closer to the top three here. We see Josh Schaffner, Kenny Powell, and Greg Wyszynski all right there on each other. I think Kenny Powell, he's got a lot of speed tonight also.
It certainly does. He is really hounding the back end of the Plentis Chevrolet, and Greg Wyszynski, I think he's just more content to just sit around and let this one develop in front of him. He doesn't want to take any kind of unnecessary risks.
I actually spoke with Greg Wyszynski earlier or yesterday, and he said that was going to be his main goal. He knows that if he just takes care of his equipment, saves those tires, the long run's going to come to him. And I think that this is that kind of track that I think he's 100% right. I think if he does this, he could be, your winner at some point, tonight, just with that kind of a mindset. You have to save your equipment. You're not going to be there at the end if you've burnt your tires up.
Pit stops are the make or break moments when it comes to oval racing, especially on short ovals like this one. And I imagine Josh Schaffner could have a huge hand to play in that one. He could get himself around to the point where he could be in a very competitive position when they actually make that stop for green flag pit stops over in the third and final stage of this race. Remember, of course, there was a 94-lap gap or run on the fuel that these drivers were able to get. There's going to be about 115, 116 laps to go, though, when you take that green flag. So technically, we could be seeing people not pitting until about 20 laps to go if they wanted to run their cars out of fuel. I have a feeling, though, these drivers are not that desperate.
No, definitely not. Especially with the tires, the way they're wearing, I don't think it would be worth it at all to gamble on something like that for sure. But I feel like also we could even see, we haven't seen a caution based on a wreck, but that final stage, that could happen. And, these guys only have 5 sets of tires. If you get multiple cautions, you could see some tire strategy happen here later in this race. But right now, these guys are running really clean and green. I think they have not shown their full hands here. They have not gotten to that level of frustration, that short track mentality that I think we're going to see when it comes to that final stage.
Patience is certainly the name of the game, and so far patience is what a lot of these drivers have been measuring beautifully throughout the course of this race. We've been seeing guys like DeCiani really put that into good effect as he continues to try to run down the race leader. You've had guys that have been trying to slowly climb their way through the ranks, guys like Kyle Green that have been doing a phenomenal job trying to work their way up and through. Now remember, Green started well down the order. We're talking 16th place. He's now up to 7th. That's plus 10 so far in the day. Grossi's just run wide. Green's just baited him into a mistake, and he's going to have a great run down that back straightaway, but he's not going to take advantage of that, right? He's being patient here. He's letting these passes come to him. He's not trying to force the issue. He doesn't want to make that pass work unless he knows he can make it work.
No, 100%. I mean, he definitely looks like. Oh, look
There
at that.
it is.
Getting real close. So Wayne Grossi tried to shut the door, but it was too late to shut that door. 19 or the 13 was already there. But look at Grossi. Oh, look at that, locking the tires. Yeah, locking those tires up. Man, Corey Cook going to get an opportunity here.
Didn't expect to see that. I don't think I've seen these guys lock it up like that entering the corner. That just cost Kyle Green 7th place, and that was almost a brilliant overtake. I was just talking about he was trying to goad him into a mistake, and he did so perfectly. He made Grossi enter much quicker than he was going to be able to make the corner with, waited for him to slide up, and now this has allowed Corey Cook to close in the gap. He's bobbling it slightly off at the turn number 4, but he's still got a power for it, trying to get around Grossi, who is still entering low, entering tight, and he's washing up constantly as a result. Looking at Cook trying to dime it up the corner to get a run, but he's too close, and Grossi cuts him off. All of this is allowing guys like Bartlett, LeVron, and Drumhiller to start to close on in.
Here comes Corey Cook on the bottom side. He gets a really good run. I think he's got it this time as he slides right up in front. Wayne Grossi, is he going to try to go underneath? No, he doesn't. So Corey Cook does clear him for 6th place. But man, look at the side-by-side battling going on right there behind him. You see Kendall LeBron and Greg Bartlett fighting. And that's for the points-paying positions for the stage. So no wonder they're fighting so hard as we have about, I do believe, 14 laps remaining in this stage.
There'll be 13 now left to go as they cross the start-finish line. And the caution flag is out. Caution has waved, and looks like it was John Mullins and Robert Pattengale to be in the start in the midst of this one. And I think you saw it right there. Pattengale got into it with John Mullins slightly in turn 1.
Yeah, he just came up there, got him right in the rear, and sent him. Oh, and then.
I watched this here. Oh, just overcorrected on the apron. Just barely nicked the 17 to get him back.
Man. And this is also gonna drive up the intensity for this final run to the end of this stage. I mean, does anyone take tires here, Nolan?
I think that's going to be a very big ticket question. Who is going to opt to take tires in this one? As we're under caution number 2, that is soon to be 3, as we will be going green with less than 10 laps to go in the second stage. Doesn't look like anybody in the lead group, and at least nobody that's up there fighting for stage points going to come in. The exception to that, Andrew Layton and Al Kozlowski in from 13th and 14th, both taken to the lane this time by.
That could be a really good call for those guys. I mean, the tires are so meaningful and important here at this racetrack. So I feel like these guys might have the ability to drive right past some guys. So could be a good call.
The problem is they're going to be able to fight their way past some of them, but they're going to have to fight their way past about 13 other drivers in front of them to be able to go for a stage win. And I'm not sure that's quite viable. Sure, they might cycle through to the front of the field under the stage 2 yellow as well, but on about 10 lap older tires, which is going to put them at a disadvantage for the next 60.
No, you're definitely right, for sure. I mean, long game is definitely going to be the big ticket item here, but I mean, and that would be kind of wasteful for them to pit when the stage 2 completes here. I mean, you're right. I thought you hit the nail on the head there. I think when it comes to strategy, I don't think those guys should do that. But for the stage point's sake, I mean, it could help those guys out. If they were already struggling, it might be a good idea.
So Kozlowski and Layton both out of pit road. Robert Pattengale still sitting in the lane. I'm actually looking to get some damage repaired. And I don't believe anybody actually got the lucky dog from that one, because the only 2 cars that were eligible for it are the 2 that wrecked. So they're both losers in that deal.
And also, I mean, could Al Kozlowski and Andrew Layton not have taken tires? Could they have just gotten some of that damage fixed? I mean, they do have damage, or I know Al does at least.
Layton took fuel only. Al Kozlowski did opt to take 4.
Oh, okay.
That tells me that Layton's likely going to be coming on in then once again for under the stage 2 break to get fresh tires, because it would be even worse for him to stay out there on 40 lap older tires.
No, definitely not. He definitely, I expect he's going to be pitting for 4 tires under the stage when it ends here. I think things are about to ramp up like crazy, though. Pace car lights are still on, but I think this time they're going to go off, and when that green flag comes out, I think it's going to be every man for himself when it comes to getting this stage win. I mean, all these guys have been probably taking it a lot easier on their tires. Now, are they going to be? I mean, I think that we're going to see some guys really maybe making some risky maneuvers. What do you think, Nolan?
The intensity was going to certainly be ramping up that much more as we get set to end out stage number 2 from the Richmond Raceway. And you got Paget and DeCiani who are going to be duking it out for the win. Can anybody try to get a run in behind them? I think the battle is going to be more, though, for those final points-paying positions.
Yeah, I definitely think you're right there. I think that those guys are going to be fighting hard to try to stay in the top 10 as we're on the back stretch going into 3 and 4, and the pace car soon to go down pit road.
Pace cars down and in, and it will be 7 laps to go in stage number 2. DeCiani tried to jump it, Paget got him, and he bobbles the wheels. Schaffner going to take it to the inside, 3 wide for the lead into turn number 1, and Schaffner might just be able to pull ahead from the inside line, side by side for the race lead out of 2.
This is not surprising in the least. I mean, we should have even covered it a little bit before this green flag came out. I mean, these guys are on old tires. Wheel spin is going to be a thing here. Mark Paget, though, able to recover. Look at the speed this guy has on the top lane.
Schaffner had one chance to capitalize from that mistake, and it didn't pay off. Now he's trapped in a battle with DeCiani that he can't afford to have if he wants to get himself a stage 2 win. If he wants to get that win, he needs to finish this fight with DeCiani and quick, because they're side by side for about a lap longer. Any hope is going to be gone for both of them.
5 laps to go. They're getting real tight on one another. Also some tight racing right there behind. You see Corey Cook up to the 5th position, trying to battle with Kenny Powell. Man, these guys are 2 by 2 here in this top 5.
4 laps to go. This time by in stage number 2, you've got Greg Wyszynski just tucked in line, trying to find a hole as well. The DuPont Chevrolet, once again, being patient. And the caution's out! Caution is out for another premature stage end.
I think that it might come to John Mullins here, I want to say. No, he did hit the wall there. Someone else there.
LeVron. It was Kendall LeVron.
Oh, my word. Definitely curious to see what happened here, Nolan. Wonder if anybody maybe helped him out.
In a turn number 1.
Oh,
wow!
He hit that inside wall right before. Wow.
It got loose on the brakes. Had to check it up, I think, trying to avoid Kyle Green, and just slammed the edge of the pit wall and just speared back up right in front of Kozlowski. There was nothing he could have done there.
Man, that is unfortunate. He hit both sides. He hit the inside wall and then bam, right into the outside. The rear end hit the outside, though, it looks like. But, man, what a dramatic wreck there.
And then John Mullins got him with Wayne. That's why Mullins hit the wall. Wayne Grossi, I think, got loose. No, he locked it up trying to avoid this and just punted Mullins into the outside wall. So that's the story there.
We're seeing pit stops underway right now. Al Kozlowski, he is staying out. We kind of called that. Man, what a dramatic race this has been. And look at the damage on the front end now, Kozlowski. I don't know if I trust him being up here in this lead right now.
So once again, under caution. This time, though, for a Stage 2 finale. Premature by about 4 laps, but a Stage 2 end nonetheless. And it did go to Mark Paget, who just needs to go one more to win himself the race. We'll take a quick step away once more, and we'll be back with you for the 3rd and final stage.
ButtKicker. Feel what you've been missing. Get yours today at thebuttkicker.com and be sure to use our 20% discount promo code ISCA20.
Still under the third caution of the night. Second one for a stage. Both stages have ended a bit prematurely tonight. Trend says to me then, Brian, green, white, checkers are not out of the question.
Oh, they definitely aren't. I mean, I think we're in for a crazy show. I think everybody out there tuning in are in for a crazy show. I think this is going to be wild. And I think we're going to enjoy every bit of it. I think we're going to be glad that we're up here instead of down there. Pace car lights are out, though. Soon to get back racing here as Al Kozlowski leads the field. We got Mark Padgett up on the top. But we saw the speed from Mark Padgett. I do not doubt he's going to be able to do something, maybe take this lead early.
Kozlowski in the lead, and obviously you mentioned Padgett wanted to get that lead early. And I'm thinking shouldn't be too much of a problem considering Kozlowski has got heavy front-end damage. Coming around through 3 and 4, and as we get set to go back green flag racing, it'll be in the hands of the Speedway Angels 88 as we go back green flag racing from Virginia.
He goes a little bit early there, but I think he's losing some speed there already. Mark Padgett, huge run up on the top. Man, look at that. Al Kozlowski still holding strong on the bottom. Nope, it looks like Mark Padgett is going to get clear here. Corey Cook also using that top line. See Kenny Powell also up there. I mean, that top line I think has gotten rubbered in now to where it is useful. 3 wide, Matt DeCiani in the middle there.
Kozlowski's just got no speed underneath that 88 car. He is just falling like a stone at the moment. And already Kozlowski goes from 3rd place to 8th in just 1 lap. Battles on for 3rd. Kenny Powell trying to go at it with Matthew DeCiani, and can Powell potentially get to this inside line? Doesn't look like he can. DeCiani covering him off in his chameleon cold brew coffee in the number 1 Chevrolet.
I've been very impressed with that 24 G&G Toyota there. He's been really running good in Kenny Powell there. You see Josh Schaffner trying to catch up here, but Greg Wyszynski, I'm telling you, I think he's got the right idea. You know, just be consistent, take care of that equipment. This is the stage that's going to really pay off. As also, we mentioned earlier, 13 of Kyle Green, he's still up here in 7th place, looking really strong. Could he start to move through the field?
I want to talk about Matt DeCiani and particularly the chameleon cold brew coffee, right? I mentioned, or I asked the last time I was on here, what is cold brew coffee? Is it coffee but cold? Well, the answer is actually yes. It is essentially coffee with ice cubes in it. That's your answer.
Well, I mean, it sounds appealing considering, whenever you, drink hot coffee, usually, the heat, if it gets cold, it doesn't taste quite as good. So if they make a coffee that actually tastes good cold, I mean, it doesn't sound too bad to me. As Al Kozlowski sends one in under Randy Drumhiller. He's going to take over 9th here. Or 8th, I should say.
Taking over in 8th place, and Drumhiller trying to make a run at him once again. And now, Drumhiller's got the outside line, and the Berkeley Mustang goes through. Now Bartlett in the Triad Chevrolet trying to get a run as well. And he is going to do just that. So Bartlett's clear. They're side by side, though, for 11th place between Wayne Grossi and Andrew Layton.
Yeah, Andrew Layton right now trying to make something happen. Wayne Grossi having a little bit of a blinking issue there. You see Matthew McMeekin trying to work something out, trying to get past Andrew Layton. We saw McMeekin earlier was starting to drive through the field, had that unfortunate spin. So he's trying to, really make a recovery from that.
Oh, Layton really trying for the inside line, but Meekin just covered him off, and once again, Grossi, you mentioned him trying to find his way up through the order, and Kozlowski still being a thorn in these guys on the side. He's not willing to let spots like these go without a proper fight. It was a pretty safe to say that he was going to lose out on at least the top few, but Now we're seeing Kozlowski really start to fight to keep them, but Grassi is clear. McMeekin is about to get clear. Andrew Layton wants to have a say in this as well in his Hawaiian Tropic Chevy.
And one thing about it, I mean, that front end damage might pay in the longer run. He's probably not burning his tires up quite as much. I'll give him that. But Matthew McMeekin trying to make something happen on the top. I mean, Kozlowski is definitely, like you said, a thorn in these guys' aside, right around on that bottom lane. I mean, he's giving them every room to be able to try to get by, but it's just so hard to pass here, especially if your car maybe isn't built to run that top.
You really need to know where you need to put your car to be able to carry that run, right? You are not going to be able to do it by just sitting back and letting you take it. It's going to be one thing that a lot of these drivers are going to continue to focus on, I imagine, as this race continues to develop on more and more. Andrew Layton thought he might have the inside of McMeekin that time by. He got the nose in, but lost it almost right after.
And thing is, I think a lot of these guys are thinking too, you don't want to spend that much time trying to battle with someone, because that's burning your tires up more and more. You want to try to use this whole racetrack. I mean, the bottom lane is, probably the best lane to run, but I mean, in the straightaways, you want to go higher, especially at, how curved the front stretch here is at this track. You want to run as high as you can to build up as much momentum as you can. But if you're side by side, it's very difficult to do that.
And most certainly is, and that challenge is going to be something that these drivers are going to have to be struggling with time and time again as this race goes along. We are 5 laps away from halfway. Where has the time flown? We're not even an hour into this thing, and already almost halfway through a 200-lap event, really going to show just how quickly these drivers can get around this circuit.
Yeah, definitely. They're flying around this racetrack quickly, 22-second, 23-second laps, and they have been relatively clean. I mean, when you take a short track racing, you think of a lot of cautions, but these guys have definitely not had that, and we're also probably past, well, I don't know, still actually a number of laps away until these guys get into the fuel window. So, definitely a while away from any kind of sorts of green flag pit stops. These guys are definitely going to be wanting to save as much tire as they can. Try to, you want to have the long.
Oh no! Kozlowski gets into it.
Oh no!
With
Caution.
McMeekin. Oh boy. Caution is out for the 4th time right at halfway, and it was from this. McMeekin just gets loose out of the corner, gets down there and door checks Kozlowski. Just nothing Al could have done, and McMeekin was struggling to wrestle control of that thing, and they just rebounded hard into the wall. I am pretty sure that is going to end Kozlowski's night.
Well, he's still moving, but he definitely is missing that front bumper. That's not going to be good for that race car. He's missing the front and the back, which is crazy.
Man. It wasn't even the initial hit that sent McMeekin back around. It was when Kozlowski rebounded off of the wall right down into the 41.
Like you said, he had no control of what was going on right there. I think it was just McMeekin just got loose there. I mean, was trying his hardest to probably, we were talking about how hard it is to try to make passes here. He was trying his hardest to get that pass done on Al Kozlowski, just not able to do it. And this is going to be an interesting caution here, considering, we're not within the fuel window.
We're not within the fuel window, and that's why a good number of these drivers have stayed out. Only 2, Schaffner and Wachinski, have dared to come into pit road. But for now, it's 100 laps down and 100 to go. We'll take a quick break and be back with you for the second half.
Cardiology, I don't have the heart. Pulmonary doctor, no cigar. I can't diagnose a simple cold or flu, but if your engine's got a cough, I know what to do. Give it 6 of these and wash it down with this. A new air filter ought to help it catch its breath. Napa know-how. Napa know-how.
Lights out on top of the pace car. We've got under 100 laps left to go in this race. So now I think the big question for everybody here is going to be asking, what is going to be the plan to get yourself to the end of this race? 2 drivers did pit, Wachinski and Schaffner. Everybody else stayed out because they weren't within the window to make it to the end.
Yeah, I'm curious. I mean, if you have like an extra tire to play, a set of tires to play with, it could be worth it. But here goes the pace car down pit road. The green flag set to come out here. Mark Pageant going to be in control of the field, and he kind of like checks these guys up a lot, but gets a good run. What a gap he's already created here. Almost 3 wide there. Was 3 wide for just a second there. Kenny Powell trying to look for any way to get around these guys in front of him. Corey Cook and Matt DeCiani fighting side by side for the second place. Looking like, oh wow, DeCiani getting real tight, has to let off.
Having to let off, and Corey Cook trying to take it high side through turns 1 and 2. Kenny Powell trying to find a hole in there as well to make his way up onto the podium, but that is not happening so far. Old tires, I think, are starting to bite a couple of drivers out there in this field. You mentioned about how important tires can be at a track like this, and no doubt that is weighing heavily on a good number of drivers, some who haven't come on in since the Stage 2 caution.
Yeah, tires are very important. I'm surprised we didn't see a lot of wheel spin. There's still some side-by-side action here. You see Josh Schaffner starting to try to drive to the field, and Greg Wachinski. They are on newer tires, and I think they're making quick work of this field right now. Just curious how many sets of tires they have left. I mean, I know these guys did not have a lot of tires to play with here tonight.
These drivers are making sure to ration what they have out nicely. They're not wanting to take unnecessary risks, and Josh Schaffner taking to the inside of Bartlett. Bartlett gets a bit of a bobble out of turn number 4, but Schaffner will find a hole. And Greg Wachinski going to be set to stick it in line in P number 10. Andrew Layton still looking to work his way up towards the top positions as well, but Wachinski to the inside of Bartlett in turn 3.
I think a lot of what's really scary about these guys pitting and falling all the way to the back of the field. I mean, it's so hard to pass here, and we've already seen some issues where maybe new tires versus old tires, damaged cars versus not damaged cars. We've already seen stuff like that kind of go badly for some. So I'm surprised that Josh Schaffner and Greg Wachinski even took that kind of a risk. I mean, you go to the back of the field at a short track, it's not going to be an easy march to get to the front.
Wachinski is now in a bit of a no man's land. He's got a couple of tenths back to Greg Bartlett. He's got a couple of tenths up to Schaffner. And all this means he's got more than enough time to just figure out what he wants his strategy to be when or if he closes up to that Plymouth Chevrolet just up the road. Now that we're a bit deeper into this run, not just take a look top to bottom and through the field. You've still got 13 cars on the lead lap as of right now. 16 still running on track. 2 of them one down, battling for the lucky dog spot. That would be Kozlowski and McBeacon. The other one 4 down. That would be the likes of Kendall LeVron, who got collected in trouble much earlier on in this race. Mark Pageant is still your race leader. He got the pole. He has won both stages and has certainly led the most laps, having led virtually every single green flag lap except for maybe 1 or 2. And so far, nobody has been able to match him.
I got to say, though, how is Al Kozlowski still out here and running the times he is? He doesn't have a back end or a front end, but he's still running 23.1. How's that even possible right now, Nolan?
Al knows how to make a car quick, and that's how much we can say. You can see the extensive damage on that Speedway Angels number 88 Chevrolet, but he does know what to do to make a car go fast. So he is certainly using that knowledge to help him out here right now as he continues to work his way further and further into these longer green flag runs. Matt DeCiani has slowly been shrinking his gap into Mark Pageant as well. That gap down to about 3.5 tenths, making now 1/4 of a second. And this could be potentially big here. Caution is out once again, and it's Corey Cook deeper in the field, and he stopped in the middle of the course in 3 and 4. He's going to have to hope that everybody has the heads-up driving to miss him. That he does.
And he did the right thing there. I mean, Cook did a great thing there, just staying still. you know, that's the best thing you can do in that kind of a situation, Nolan.
Gonna take a look at this one here, and it's Corey Cook into turn number 3. Kyle Green was battling with him. We're gonna watch this. Kyle gets it in there, and just locked the brakes up. Oh yeah, he locked it up big time trying to avoid that. That was definitely not at all what Kyle wanted to do. He just went in a bit too hot and locked the brakes up and just went straight.
Yeah, Corey was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. But like I said, hats off to him for staying still after that to let all those other guys, you know, you see a lot of guys, you know, they don't hold the brake and they kind of slide down the racetrack. You want to be as predictable as possible because, I mean, I think that could have saved Corey Cook's race from, you know, just stopping like that and being more predictable. Yeah, Kyle Green definitely locked those brakes up and, you know, definitely was trying to race hard. And Kyle Green has been doing great all night long. So, I mean, you know, definitely a lot of confidence coming from that driver. And no wonder. I mean, he's definitely been showing a lot of speed. Just unfortunate that, you know, made a crucial mistake like that. And big different calls going on pit road here. Also, Nolan. Some guys going down, some guys not. Are they in the fuel window? I do believe they are.
They are just in the fuel window. Remember, they had about 94 laps, I believe it was, they could go on the fuel. And check my notes here again just to make sure that, yes, 94 laps estimated, and they have 83 laps left to go. So they are going to be good. This could be it then for pit stops on the night if drivers think they can make it on the tires.
Yeah, I think the tires is going to be the main concern right now. When we've seen how much they've been wearing, I mean, you know, in this next-gen car, too, at tracks like this, there has been, you know, where you've had a sense of people blowing tires, too. I mean, is that not a possibility? I mean, I have seen that before. I mean, you know, if you get to 0%, I mean, it's going to give you a black flag, and we could see something like that happen. Would definitely be unfortunate if front that elected not to pit. I think that they think that there's going to be another caution. There's going to be another opportunity to take that set of tires.
And at this rate, it looks like there will be one, right? So far, the longest one we've had under green flag conditions has been about 40-ish laps. So by that knowledge, we should have another point in this race if the trend continues where we will be seeing these drivers coming on down into pit road for full service. So it's Schaffner from Wachinski, from Paget, from DeCiani, from Powell. Then it's Green, Grossi, Drumhiller, Bartlett, Layton for the top 10. Sanchez, Pattingale, Cook, and Kozlowski are the last drivers on the lead lap.
Yeah, with these cautions here, you know, could give Matthew McMeekin a chance to get back on the lead lap. Well, he's been showing a lot of speed here tonight. Unfortunately, got caught up in some accidents earlier in this race. I don't know, though. I mean, I think we might see another caution, or I think there's also the possibility we go really long green run right here. I mean, whatever. Usually, you know, like if I was in Josh Schaffner's shoes right now, I would have probably pitted, considering usually if I decide not to pit and think there's going to be a caution that comes out, a lot of times, Nolan, it doesn't come out. You know?
Pace cars down and in, and Schaffner gets a very early jump on the field already, clear by 3 when the hits start finish. You see Bart Paget trying to have some moves up the inside as well. Paget wants to retake the race lead. He lost it in pit stops, and he is eager to try to take that spot back. Wachinski's got the high side on DeCiani down in the turn number 3, but DeCiani will pull clear for the 3rd position as they reel off of 4. And Kenny Powell going around with them, and no, now there's more trouble in behind, and the caution flag waves again.
Al Kozlowski involved in this. I don't know what happened here.
I saw Kozlowski around, and I think I saw McMeekin going around in there in the back as well. Have they collided once more? Oh, wow. Oh, Cook way too hop.
Yeah. Man.
Good gravy. Yeah, just threw it in way too hot there. Then nowhere for Al Kozlowski to go.
move. I think that's just a error in judgment there from Corey Cook. And, you know, who am I to judge, though, considering these guys are racing at, you know, probably over 100 mile an hour, and, you know, it's easy to make mistakes like that, I'd say. But, you know, hindsight's always 20/20, you know. I mean, when you're having to make decisions in microseconds, it's definitely hard to do. And it looks like Kendall Vron going to be getting his lap back here, I think, because Matthew or someone was involved in that, I do believe, right? Maybe Matthew picked up an X there. Did he? Matthew McMeekin, I mean.
I wouldn't be surprised. He definitely got nailed by that one. He's up to 12 incident points, second highest out of anybody on the track so far. Second only to Al Kozlowski, so that is unfortunate for the both of them. They've just been caught up and haven't been able to really stay out of trouble tonight. But you know, that's what happens. It's short track racing. So far, about half the incidents have been as a result of cars just throwing it in too deep. The other half have been caused by people getting loose. It really has been kind of a double-edged sword, it would seem, on that front.
You know, at a track like this, but we have seen a lot of guys there or just over driving it. I think that's been the main thing, and this is that kind of a track to where, you know, if you're doing everything right, I almost feel like it's going to look a little bit boring, you know, considering, you know, you're not going to see that car really on the edge a lot of times, just considering, you know, this is that track you want to maintain the exit speed. You want to really make sure you're really smooth through the corners, and I think a lot of the guys are just over driving it.
And that's one of the hazards about these cars. They do not like being overdriven, right? They have a very, very fine line about what you can and cannot do. And a lot of drivers have been having to learn the hard way tonight exactly where that limit lies.
Well, I'll tell you what, Nolan. I mean, if this was actually like the NASCAR Cup Series, you know, you see the guys out here, you know, the way their tires, as soon as they go sideways, they blow a tire. I mean, if that was the case here tonight, I don't think we'd probably see as many accidents as we have, considering guys would be walking on eggshells.
And, of course, remember, they had just all coming for pit stops, right? And we talked before about how bad these cars can be with cold tires. This latest caution means they're going to be even cooler now. It's not making it any easier for these drivers out there, is it? I mean, it's just it's one of those things where they're going to have to, once again, be a bit patient here, let things settle in. After they get about 5 or so laps into a run, then they'll be able to push hard with each other again and be able to go flat out.
Well, one thing about it, though, you look at our leader, Josh Schaffner. I mean, he has 26 laps on his tires right now. Also, another person that has a lot of laps on their tires, I do believe, is the fourth place position of Kenny Powell. Those guys might be in danger of wheel spin on this race start here, and that could cause a lot of issues. We also see Mark Padgett in second place, Matt DeCiani in third place. Both of those guys have, I do believe, 10 laps on their tires. So definitely a lot of variety when it comes to tire wear out here.
Pace car is down and in, and it will be Josh Schaffner and Mark Padgett leading them back to the green. Schaffner got an early launch, and that last time by, Padgett's trying to jump it, and he got baited. Schaffner is clear as they hit the green flag. Padgett was expecting him to go, had to slow down, which meant that when Schaffner did go, Padgett didn't have the opportunity to respond to the run to one.
Wow, Padgett going really high there, too. Almost got into that wall.
And Corey Cook has been black flagged. Not quite sure what this is for, but Corey Cook getting into it, it would seem, as he is now going to be down and into pit row for what could be a very lengthy hold in this race. That is no bueno for the number 61 machine, who is now going to be having a rough ride ahead of him. He wants to try to find his way back to the back up onto the lead lap.
Also seeing a lot of racing back here for the 6th and 7th position. You see Wayne Grossi and Kyle Green trading paint here, or not trading paint, but really getting close to one another, battling for the lead right now.
They certainly are. DeCiani's got the inside. Schaffner trying to find a way back through, but he doesn't get there. And And DeCiani clears for the lead. Powell trying to make the run for second. As they hit 71 laps to go. Powell to the inside. He'll take it in one. And Mark Padgett going to bump Schaffner out of the podium.
Yeah, I mean, that just shows you the difference in their tires. I mean, Josh had about 20 more laps on his tires than these other guys. I mean, Richmond is a veritable cheese grater when it comes to these tires out here. So, not a surprise. But Schaffner fighting back on the high side on Mark Padgett.
Trying to find a hole. Mark Padgett, though, can't get to the inside, or at least can't get clear for the inside. But Schaffner is dead even with him up on the high side. So the Caterpillar Chevrolet is going to have to work hard in his Triad number 02 on the inside with Schaffner, the Plenish G&G machine, up top trying to find a hole. So we can see if he can't link up with his G&G teammate Kenny Powell, but he's not going to do so, and he backs off, allowing Mark Padgett to get into third.
Definitely some great racing out here right now, but it has single filed out quite a bit here. See Matt DeCiani out in the lead. He has about a half a second lead on Kenny Powell. Mark Padgett, who we just saw pass Josh Schaffner, is about a half a second behind Kenny Powell also. So I think Padgett has a very quick car right now. He's faster than Kenny right now. I think we're going to see him start to catch up here. Could he work his way further forward? Could be a thing. I mean, considering he has led a lot of this race here tonight, Matt DeCiani, you know, has ran second for most of this race, I'd say.
The time continues to slip away. I think we're at the point now in this race where you're going to be having some drivers get themselves to the point where the tires are back at the temperatures, and now they're able to just battle it out with each other and just focus on the racing side of things down there on the racetrack, which is just what you like to see. And so I think the question for a lot of these guys now is, do we have to stop again for tires? You know you're good to go to the end on fuel. Do you want to make that call to go to the end and be slower in the long run? Or do you want to not take the risk, come in and change tires about halfway through the stint?
I mean, it could be a strategy for sure. You know, I'm still looking at, you know, Josh Schaffner and Greg Wyszynski both have 36 tires on their, or I'm sorry, 36 laps on their tires. My brain just stopped working there for a second, Nolan. I do apologize to everyone out there, but they have a lot of laps on those tires. I mean, they're going to probably be coming in very soon. The rest of these guys, I think they're going to try to chance it in a good long run. I mean, is it really worth it to try to come down just for tires? I mean, it takes probably good 40 seconds to get from one end of the pit road to the other. I just don't know if it's worth it.
That is a very good point, obviously. I mean, you spend, what is it, like 30, 40 seconds on pit road with 23-second laps?
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what, you know, I'm kind of thinking that I think these guys are going to go as long as they can. I mean, tires are definitely a big thing here tonight, but we have not, you know, they haven't lost enough time to make that really worth it. I think, you know, if you go to a track maybe like Darlington, it's a lot more worth it to do something like that. But Richmond, I don't know. I mean, I still feel like tire wear is so important here, but not that important to where you would want to do something like that.
Wyszynski, you can see him up on top, and he's going to lose the spot there to Kyle Green. That was for fifth. Wayne Grossi wants to look up the inside and go for sixth place as well. The Pennzoil Chevrolet, good work to try to wrangle that very yellow machine around the racetrack. It sticks out a whole lot, doesn't it, Wayne Grossi's machine? It doesn't really blend well, shall we say, with the mesh of grays, blacks, and the occasional reds that you see around the field.
And also got a, you know, Greg Wyszynski in a sort of a new paint scheme here tonight. I mean, haven't seen him in that kind of a color scheme before. But you're right. I mean, he stands out. And Wayne Grossi standing out on the racetrack right now in seventh place, trying to fight for sixth. He dives on the inside here. Can he get the run? Wyszynski able to have a good run up the top. And you got to think Wyszynski is on such older tires. And still holding on. Look at the run he gets on exit. I think Wayne Grossi might have got a little loose there or something.
And behind them, you've got Bartlett and Drumhiller battling it out as well amongst themselves down in the turn number one. So you got these fights starting to pick up everywhere you look. Wyszynski has the advantage on the high side. I think he might just get clear of Grossi. Not enough to be able to commit to the inside line. Bartlett not able to keep Drumhiller totally at bay, but now Wachinski finally clears from Grossi, and I think Bartlett just fended off Drumhiller as well.
Yeah, I mean, even though Greg Wachinski's on those older tires, I think that top side's really working well for him. And you know, a lot of these guys have been spending a lot of this week running the officials and really learning how to, you know, get these cars around this racetrack. One thing that we really don't talk a lot about is 75% fuel that these guys hold in their tanks really changes the handling of their car. So even if you've been building that setup all week long, you're going to come into this race and it's going to be somewhat different, and it could be substantial.
So you got a good number of drivers all under a blanket. First is pulling away. Second and third are just by themselves. Fourth and fifth have nothing going on. It's about sixth, then to 14th place, all in one long train with each other at the moment. And that also goes for the last cars, some of the last cars that you actually got out on the racetrack as well. So there is not a whole lot that of the field that's separated outside of this big field that you're watching for the time being. And the closest drivers among these guys would be Bartlett and Drumhiller, with both of those drivers trying to close them and battle it out with each other. Bartlett's trying to get up to Wayne Grossi, which will put one car between himself and the 44. But that Berkeley Mustang isn't about to go away anytime soon.
I'm telling you what, that 44 Randy Drumhiller, I've seen a rather substantial uptick in the amount of good finishes he's been getting lately. I mean, he has definitely been putting his nose to the grindstone, trying to get good finishes. I mean, I know he finished pretty good, I do believe, last week at Coda also. Greg Bartlett getting a good run up on top. Can he get above Wayne Grossi? Does not manage to do so. You see Corey Cook, he's a lap down, getting around Kendall LeVron there, trying to stay. I think he's trying to make sure he stays in front of Matthew McMeekin so he holds that lucky dog spot. But man, Matt DeCiani out to a sizable lead right now, over 9/10, as Kenny Powell in second place, starting to maybe probably worried about Mark Pageant here. Kenny Powell looking like he's got some really good speed. He's about a tenth faster than him. And Kenny Powell looking like he definitely has a chance to maybe get him a nice top two here. This is definitely going to be a race that, changes the points, I think, in a lot of ways for the Super Cup Series and the Cup Series.
Bartlett has a run here on Wayne Grossi. Can't take it anywhere, though, so this is not an easy run for the number 77 car. Wayne Grossi thinking about going to the inside of Grossi out of 3 and 4. Can he get the nose in? No, he can't. Just can't go anywhere with that. That's the big problem. He is so much faster than Wayne Grossi big corner, but if he backs up any further than he is right now, Drummond is going to be all over him. He won't be able to make an attack, so he's kind of stuck in a bit of a limbo at the moment, right? He can't make a pass because he's not close enough, and he doesn't have a big enough run. But if he backs up to get himself a better run, Drummond is going to go at him instead.
I could have swore Greg Bartlett there was about to get into that 7. You see, I think he laid on the brakes there, kicked a little bit sideways, got a little loose there. These guys are working hard. Corey Cook, big wiggle there from him. And now we've crossed that threshold now, less than 50 laps to go. This is when we could start seeing, green flag pit stop strategy start to play out. As Corey Cook underneath Randy Drumhiller. This is not for position.
No, it is not. And you do, of course, have that one driver in the mix of this that is not fighting anybody at the moment. That is the likes of Corey Cook. And Cook sliding a bit sideways out of the corner. And how about that? Just up the road, Greg Bartlett's making the move to the inside of Wayne Grossi. And it looks like he might have the nose in there. Can he get it off the exit? Yes, he can. Greg Bartlett goes through. But he bobbles it. And he's not going to clear this time, but maybe through 3 and 4. Grossi's up top. And now Bartlett gets clear from the bottom.
And also closer to the front, Mark Pageant has got caught up to Kenny Powell. Change for second place here shortly, as possibly here, as they're running in lap traffic. Al Kozlowski's right there. But still a lot of racing going on back here in this further back in the race here. We see Randy Drumhiller and Greg Bartlett still fighting it out. Andrew Layton now looking under the 77.
And Layton to the inside. The Hawaiian Tropic 25 is going to go through. Bartlett starting to falter. The tire wear really kicking in, and so is it for Andrew Layton, who gets all bent out of shape as well. Tell you what, Andrew Layton cannot get a break at the moment.
Yeah, definitely can. I mean, these guys are in that point where the tires are definitely, starting to really show their, ugly side here. Hard to get off these corners. But this is such a, this track, when it comes to getting off these corners, you have to treat it like there's an egg underneath your gas pedal. And as the tires wear, it gets even worse and worse and worse. So easy to just lose grip here. But man, loving every bit of what I'm seeing here. A lot of guys really showing a lot of heart out on this racetrack right now.
And at this point, now everything is starting to spread apart a little bit more. I have a feeling this is the part of the race where everything starts to space out. Right now that all the battles have more or less been taken care of, you're left with only the couple of groups here or there. Among them, you still got the battle for third and second place between Mark Padgett and Kenny Powell. It's just now out of turn number 4. That is the closest position battle. And the furthest up position battle at that you got out there on the racetrack just as we get the 40 lap to go mark this next time by around at the line. And Padgett, I love what he's doing here. He's entering high, exiting low, getting the best possible run he can down the straightaways.
Yeah, he's doing exactly what he needs to do right now. He's been staying right there on Kenny Powell's rear end. That's one thing you want to do. You want to be in that guy's rear mirror, try to make him make mistakes, make him watch that relative as he sends it underneath. And loses a lot of momentum on the center, but he gains it on exit. Look at that. He's right. He knows what he's doing around this track. Still not able to get clear here of Kenny Powell side by side through the corner, but I just feel like Padgett's got such a good handling car right now. Oh, wow. Kenny Powell getting a really good run up on the top side.
And Padgett's going to get through to second. Maybe Powell, once again, knows how to work the high side, and he's going to do so out of 2 down the backstretch. But Mark Padgett not going to let this one go lightly. He's going to take to the bottom, and can he clear out of 4? No, he can't. Powell still has got the nose in. But I think with how far ahead Mark Padgett is at this point in time, he is going to be able to easily take this one before long. You also saw Wayne Grossi taking a ride through pit road. So a couple of drivers already thinking about mid-stint pit stops while they're still in a drag race for second place. Powell way up the hill, though, and that's enough for Padgett to squeak through into second.
I think that would be a sign for me from Kenny Powell. I would be going down pit road right now. I mean, you let that position go, short pit him, get some position gains with those new tires. I mean, those new tires are going to breathe new life into your race if you're able to create enough of a gap here. I think we're in that realm to where, these guys are going to want to be bitten soon, so why not now?
And now that Wayne Grossi is starting to work his way through, Mark Padgett is going to be split apart here from Kenny Powell for a little while. Grossi obviously on the very fresh rubber, and you can see just the difference between old tires and fresh tires right there. Got on the inside by the start of 3, was already 3 car lengths clear by the exit of 4.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, Wayne Grossi pitting here and him driving through the field, even though he is a lap down, of course, I mean, is going to be a big signal, big sign to a lot of these other, crews to get their drivers down pit road, get those tires changed, get back out there, run as quick as you can here towards the end of this race. I mean, we only have about 34, 35 laps to go right now. 34, actually, yeah. But Matt DeCiani out to over 2 seconds right now. I mean, he has definitely been doing a great job out here. I swear, I think Clean Air has a big part of this, even though this is a shorter track, only 3/4 of a mile. I really do think that Clean Air helps out quite a bit. And now you see DeCiani starting to catch up to some more lap traffic here. I mean, we see some guys are going to be in danger of going a lap down here. Mark Sanchez comes to mind here, and Robert Pattengale right there on each other. Matt DeCiani going to be putting them a lap down. That's going to put only, I do believe, 9 cars on the lead lap once that happens.
Correct, only 9 cars on the lead lap once that happens, and so far, Matt DeCiani is showing no sign of looking to stop now. He could potentially lap all the way up to 8th by the time this race is done, but there's still some ways to go before he gets up there. So for now, Matt DeCiani is just going to be content with sitting up there with his 2.2 second lead, with so far nobody being able to realistically counter against him. The battle is on for 5th place as well. I think Kyle Green just broke past Greg Wyszynski for that 5th position, and that is starting to continue to close. It's actually Wyszynski going on the offensive. The DuPont Chevy trying to get around the Rowdy Energy Camry.
And wow, I mean, Wyszynski's on some of the, almost some contact there. That was close. Wyszynski's on some of the oldest tires in the field right now, and he's still able to compete like this. Is very impressive. If I was him, I would be taking a trip down pit road, to be honest with you. I mean, that would be the call. You could get around this 19. 19's holding you up. Might as well go down pit road, right, Nolan? I mean, you see 44 up on the top.
Greg Wyszynski is going to now be under fire by Randy Drumhiller, and Drumhiller is going to take that one high side around. So I think Greg Wyszynski finally starting to falter. He burned all his stuff up early on, and now he's entering conservative mode.
Oh, contact with the wall for there from Corey Cook. Man, what happened there? He just hit that wall hard.
Oh, my goodness. It's getting a bit feisty out there on the racetrack, but so far, we've got a lot of drivers still with some scores to settle and some battles to settle as well. And now I think Greg Wyszynski was finished seeing what he could do against Kyle Green. Let Randy Drumhill have a shot at it. 44 Berkeley Mustang once again going up against Green. Looking high, out of 4, but can't take the run away. Might have to wait just one more lap.
I mean, Randy Drumhill looking like he's going to get another top 5 here tonight, it seems like. I mean, he has been, like I said, just recently, he's been running really well. I mean, very impressed with what that 44 machine's been able to do here as he tries to go up above the 13 there, just not able to get there. But, I mean, like I said before, if you just stay in that guy's mirrors, keep him looking at that relative. If he's not looking ahead of himself, he's going to make mistakes. And that's what Drumhill needs to be trying to inspire here. Maybe just get real close to that guy. Put some pressure on him. As now we have, I do believe, 25 laps remaining. When they cross the line, I do believe 24. Man, this thing has ticked on by so fast here tonight, Nolan.
And Drumhiller still cannot find a way through. You've got Kyle Green running up there right in front of him as you ride on board with Drumhiller and his Berkeley Mustang. But Kyle Green and his Rowdy Energy Camry has been keeping cool, calm, and collected. And I honestly kind of like what's going on here. Green is entering a bit slower than these guys are expecting. So it's causing the check up more than they expect, which means they can't carry the momentum around on the corner exit. If this is intentionally what Green's doing, this is a brilliant defensive game that he's playing.
I'm sure that the guys behind him don't think so. I bet they want to get by him as quickly as they can, and he is definitely hurting their runs for sure. And I mean, with a short track like this, I don't know if I'd play like that with people, considering, I mean, these guys anytime can, I don't have to lift. I mean, you know what I mean? That's what sometimes guys think at these short tracks, just throw it in there, make something happen. But I mean, this has allowed Greg Wyszynski to catch up here to the back of the 44 of Randy Drumhiller. So, the racing is not done. There is still plenty of positions up for grabs, it seems like.
Plenty of positions up for grabs, but a majority of the big ones that we're looking at are within the top 5 battle. And so far, nobody has been able to get past Kyle Green in this fight. Drumhiller has been trying. Oh, he's got him here, though. Kyle Green left the door open when he pushed up from the bottom, and Drumhiller is going to go into 5th.
Just caught him sleeping there. It looks like Greg Wyszynski right now side by side with Corey Cook. Corey Cook not helping out Wyszynski in the least here. Wyszynski wants to take advantage and try to get by Kyle Green himself. Oh, almost looked like Corey Cook was getting a little bit loose there. Look at the run that Corey Cook gets up on the top side. He is trying his darndest right now to get up through here, get his lap back. Man, look at that. Real loose condition there for a lot of these guys. These guys are driving with such intent, and surprised we haven't seen more green flag pit stops. No, I mean, this is crazy. These guys are going this long. When are they going to pit?
I don't think they will at this point. They had enough fuel to make it to the end, and so far the tires haven't been too much to talk about. I mean, one of the only guys that was able to come in on tires has yet to unlap himself, which really goes to show just how fruitless it would have been to try to make that time up on the fresh rubber on the racetrack, how tight of a track this is. Greg Wyszynski is still trying to catch up to Kyle Green with under 20 laps to go to find a hole. But Green is not having an easy time of it, and I think the lap traffic trying to unlap themselves is what's giving him the buffer that he needs to stay ahead of the DuPont Chevrolet.
Yeah, definitely is. Wayne Grossi. Oh, man, that was close. Wayne Grossi almost getting into Kyle Green. Greg Wyszynski having to react to that. And, of course, Wayne Grossi is one lap down, trying to catch up here to Corey Cook. So that could be a change of position for the one lap down guys. And this could be the opportunity that Greg Wyszynski needs. He's going to try to get underneath that 13. Not able to do it, though.
Trying it, but Kyle Green was not ready to let it go just yet. Oh, there's the bumper, the bump and run. Kyle Green, though, holds firm. He's not about to let Wyszynski have it easily, and he is not intimidated either. Wyszynski trying to go at it again through turn 2, gets the over-under, but gets loose on the exit of the corner. Right when you think Wyszynski will have the momentum, he just fumbles it like that every time, and it is really starting to cost him.
That's also allowing Andrew Layton there in that 25 to start to catch up here. Could we see maybe him have a chance here to get even a better position? Definitely a nice top 10 here for him. I mean, Greg Wyszynski desperate, though, trying to make something happen. Oh, big run on the top here. Oh, you could almost barely fit a piece of paper between those two cars right then. Oh, contact!
No! They both go around into the infield. They both save it, and Green still holds on to the position. And I have a feeling that was just pushing a bit too hard. Greg Wyszynski just got loose on the throttle and came right down across Kyle Green. But what a save for the both of them, and what a fight.
And what's crazy about this right now, we're seeing Matt DeCiani. He's about to catch up to Greg Wyszynski and put him a lap down. Could we see him? He has lapped over half this field. Just crazy when you think about it. That DeCiani guy, I mean, he got that lead, and he is not giving it back, that's for sure. Mark Pageant has been doing a great job, though. He's starting to he has been reeling him in somewhat, but he has been dealing with a lot of lap traffic. You see Matthew McMeekin right there. He's 2 laps down. He's having to deal with him. The lap traffic really is the name of the game here tonight, right now, in this final stage, Noah.
Oh, my goodness. I mean, what a race has been so far. I mean, if we were thinking about, when would we potentially take a little bit of a run to just ride aboard a couple of drivers, we haven't even had the chance to do that because it has been just so exciting. I mean, at this point, you're so close at the end of the race, right? I mean, under 10 laps to go this next time by at the line, and so far, that, I believe, was about the last battle on the course. And Mark Pageant still trying to close to DeCiani, and while the gap isn't growing, it's not shrinking either.
Yeah, Matt DeCiani right now on 75-lap old tires. So everybody out there is on really extremely old tires. So would not be surprised to see some handling conditions start to show up here. Wouldn't be surprised to see somebody get loose. I mean, could we talked about it earlier, could we see a green-white checkered? I don't know. These guys look like they're so spread out. Maybe it won't happen.
So as we continue to get towards the end of this race, you have to start thinking, right, if this is how exciting Richmond was, what's Martinsville going to be like in just a week? I mean, we had some pretty crazy battles this week, and Martinsville, it is the short track of short tracks, right? When people think short track racing, that's typically one of the first places that tends to come to mind on the stock car racing scene.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, it definitely is the quintessential short track, especially with its paperclip nature. I mean, you have them long straightaways, but those, really low-speed corners to where if you have the right handling car, I mean, you can make something happen, but it's so hard to pass. And passing on the top really burns your tires up quite a bit. Haven't really seen what that's going to look like in this next gen, though. I'm very curious to see what it will look like, though. We have seen, varying degrees of maybe the tire wear in these cars, maybe not being as great at some tracks, but then being quite substantial at others. Could we see, Martinsville? You might be able to run that. Could that, run that top side? I'm not sure, especially with the difference in horsepower that these cars have.
Powell has started to close in on Paget for second place in the closing laps. It'll be 4 to go for them this time by. You see only a couple of cars now between them. You reckon Powell's got enough to try to close on in? He was about 2/4 of a second faster that last lap.
He definitely was. I mean, he was a couple tenths faster there, and he catches up in the entry. I don't know, though. Last time by, I mean, it wasn't as much. It was only a couple hundredths that he was faster. So, I don't know. I mean, is he running out of time? Is he getting desperate here? I mean, soon to be 3 laps to go. I mean, time is truly running out. I think, some of these, they're running out of time. I mean, this is such a hard place to get that momentum out on the exits of these corners. I mean, when you get closer to the end of it, I almost think you might overdrive it more. So hopefully some of these guys are thinking, I want to get the best exit I can. I mean, you see Schaffner, he's trying to even catch up to Kenny Powell right now, but not able to do so. And he was actually much quicker than Kenny Powell, a few tenths actually. So does he have enough time? I mean, he might with the lap times he's running right now.
And Matt DeCiani is exiting off of turn number 4. He gets set to start the final trip around the Richmond Raceway. It's been a solid run for Matt DeCiani in his number 1 Camilling Cold Brew Chevrolet. We thought it'd be Mark Paget on top. Mark Paget may have won both stages, but it was Matt DeCiani to make the most of the one that counted. He'll exit turn 4, and DeCiani wins the Napa 200 from Richmond.
What a great race from him, Matt DeCiani. I mean, excellent work. Able to get that track position when it counted. I mean, you can win both stages, sure. But, winning the race, that's the thing they write down. You know what I mean? But Mark Paget still... Great job for him. Going to be a great points day for him considering he, won both stages and finished second place. Not a bad day at all. Also not a bad day for Kenny Powell finishing in 3rd there.
And so, with all of that set in mind, let's take a look at your official post-race results. With Matt DeCiani in the lead to win the race, Mark Paget 2.4 back in second place. Kenny Powell is 3rd with Schaffner in 4th. It's Randy Drumhiller down in 5th with the likes of Andrew Layton in 6th. Kyle Green sits in 7th with Greg Wachinski in 8th as the last driver on the lead lap. Wayne Grossi and Corey Cook, 9th and 10th.
11th place, 1 lap down. Also, Mark Sanchez. 12th place, Robert Pattengale. 13th place, Greg Bartlett. 14th place, Al Kozlowski. He is 2 laps down. 15th, Matthew McMeekin. 16th, Kendall Levron, 52 laps down. 17th, John Mullins, 101 laps down. So these are the guys that were out early in the race. Paul Olson in 18th. 19th, James Oxford. And that wraps out our 19-car field here tonight.
And that's going to wrap out, as you mentioned, the 19-car field from tonight's race with Oxford, the only driver to not take to the green flag in tonight's race. And so, as one by one, the drivers start to trickle on in. We'll start from the bottom and we'll work our way up, starting with G&G Racing's Kenny Powell to finish it off for us in 3rd place tonight. Kenny, how is it like for you out there trying to run down Paget with just a few laps to go?
Yeah, it was. I knew it was going to be tough. I made a mistake in talking too much, actually. Slid my tires and got them a little too hot, and that got Mark right on my butt. And I knew when he got to me that was going to be pretty much the race for second. And once he got by, if he got by, I didn't know if I'd be able to run him back down. But he did, and I cooled my tires and made another run at him at the end. But Matt was he was too fast. He was gone. But didn't quite get Mark, almost.
It was an exciting race, though, nonetheless, here tonight, and I imagine it might be even more exciting when we go to the slowest track of the season at the Martinsville Speedway. What's your take at the world's second fastest paperclip?
Well, I do like short tracks. Richmond's probably a little bit better for me than Martinsville. Martinsville's such a hectic place. I'll say it that way. Keep it nice and clean. But hopefully that's how the race is going to be, nice and clean. But maybe I don't anticipate that. So it'll be missing the wrecks and staying clean, and hopefully get to the front.
And before we let you go then here, Kenny, obviously it's always going to be able to get the chance to have you up here to talk to us and give us these little insights at the end of these races. And got anybody else to shout out for us in that G&G 24 before I let you go?
Of course, you guys in the booth, and I get to talk to Nolan this time. And normally it's Brian or Al, but so yeah, happy for the third place. Got to thank you guys, Rob, G&G, and ButtKicker for helping us put this on, and everybody that participates. That wouldn't be worth doing unless we had all the drivers in here competing with me, and I really appreciate everybody that races with us.
Thank you, Ken, for taking the time to join us here tonight. Congratulations on the third place at Richmond. Best of luck when we swing to the other end of the state, to Martinsville.
Thank you.
And well, that'll move us on to our second place driver, Mark Padgett, the one who we thought might win it all after winning 2 stages. Brian, you're standing by with our second place finisher.
Yeah, we definitely don't have much of a travel time to get to our other destination. Usually we have to take a plane across the country to be able to go to our next track, but we are joined in the booth by Mark Padgett. Excellent work tonight, man. I mean, you won both stages. One question that really weighs in my mind here: did you feel like clean air was maybe wearing your tires more, or what was the why weren't you able to get back up there and get that lead from Matt DeCiani there?
Yeah, absolutely. I think I just I raced Kenny a little too hard, and then I pushed trying to get back up to Matt. Kind of wore my stuff out and let Kenny catch me again. So track position was everything. I kept saying to my teammates the first 2 stages, I said, man, Matt and Corey Cook actually too were really good. So whoever gets out front for that last stage is going to win this.
Yeah, definitely seemed like that was the case for sure, and it seemed, yeah, you're right though. It was so hard to pass. Also, I mean, when you were fighting with someone, you were slowing each other down. Are you happy to see Richmond go, or I mean, did you have a fun night tonight?
Yeah, I had fun. I mean, I can't complain with 2 stage wins and coming up 1 place short at the end. I mean, it was a good night overall. I will be sad to see Richmond go. I like these tracks. I love short tracks, but we're actually going to my favorite track next week. So if we can stay clean at Martinsville, we should have a good week there too.
Yeah, I was just getting ready to ask you about how you felt about Martinsville. I mean, it's a track you have a lot of confidence with, it sounds like.
Yeah, I love that place. I guess I'm kind of a short track ace, but not intentionally. It just seems like I run better there. And Martinsville's king of the short tracks. So, yeah, I love it.
Well, we look forward to seeing what you can do there for sure. Definitely excellent work in your second place finish here tonight. Who can we shout out after coming home in the outside pole position, I should say?
Yeah, another team win. So thank you to everybody stage wins. I'll say that. But everyone at Triad made a great setup this week. It was really a group effort. We all had input on it. So thanks to the guys that worked on it, wrenched on this thing. And we wouldn't be here without our sponsors, ButtKicker, you guys, and over at Triad, we got Area Logs, Trust Me Vodka, Caterpillar, and Stent Analyzer.
All right. Well, we definitely appreciate your time, man, and look forward to seeing what you can bring to us at Martinsville. Love your confidence, and so you're going to win it, right? You're going to go ahead and call that shot?
No, I'm not that confident. There's way too much that could happen there.
All righty. Well, we definitely appreciate your time, man. It was lovely to talk to you. You have yourself a great night, and back to you, Nolan.
And that will move us down to the final driver. And on the top step of the podium, it's Matt DeCiani bringing the number 1 car home in the number 1 position. How does it feel to win again here in Richmond, Matt?
Oh man, it feels pretty good. I'm really glad we got a long run there because that really helped me.
And so when you kind of look over the race as a whole, you weren't at the most optimal position coming on into this. How'd you make the most of that, though, to find yourself up on top by the time the race got down to the checkered flag?
When we pitted there in that third stage, I think I came out third or something, and I knew if I could get in front of Mark, I had a good shot, at least to race for it, because, I don't know, getting stuck behind him, I can run him down, but it's just, I don't know, the clean air is so important, and yeah, it's that made all the difference.
What do you think you'll be able to do to make sure that you can potentially go 2 for 2 next week in Martinsville?
Oh, I don't know. Martinsville is, it's, there's not much racing on the service, at least I've had with my experience in Martinsville. It's always a bunch of caution, so we'll see what happens. But yeah, I mean, it's a short track, and pretty much anything can happen there.
And before I let you go then here, Matt, anybody you'd like to shout out for that number 1 Chevrolet?
Yeah, thanks to you guys in the booth, and shout out to EPI and Michael Conti for building an insane setup this week. But yeah, thanks guys.
Thank you for taking the time to join us here tonight. Congratulations on a race win. Best of luck next week in Martinsville.
Thanks guys.
And that's going to be about all the time we're going to have for one evening then here for the Napa 200 at the Richmond Raceway. So for myself, Noah Rembo, along with Brian Britt and Rob Melnick down behind the cameras, want to thank everybody for taking to join us here tonight. Tune in next week. We go racing in Martinsville, Virginia at the world's fastest paperclip for more racing action in the iRacing Stock Car Association ButtKicker Cup Series.